Hello, hello, Jeanne Marie Paynel here for another Friday Live during just to bring you support and answer any of your parenting questions. So, I am definitely having internet issues, so please tell me if you can hear me and see and all of that because I'm not sure. I need to go check myself on. Ay, ay, ay. I think so many people are on the internet these days that it makes it really hard. I know for me, for example, we are three in the house. I'm usually by myself doing these. So, yes, okay, yes, you can hear me. Perfect. Hello, Tatiana. And as always, I love to know where you're calling in from. I am live here in San Diego, and I know that there are people all over the world tuning in. So I always love to know where you're tuning in from. And please let me know in your comments what questions you have for me during this stay at home time. Toronto, Canada. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, we are still in our global pandemic stay at home orders, and I just want to be here to support. And I think I will continue to do these even afterwards because I think they have been great for me to connect and also just to give you support. And I think parents need support even during non pandemic times, right? I think right now it is upping the level of challenge just because we're all kind of discombobulated, as I like to say, and so we're being challenged with another level of how to manage ourselves, how to manage, and I don't know if I like the word manage, but it's really how to, efficiently or uh, peacefully, respectfully, slowly go through this together as a global community and as a family community. I spent a long time yesterday on a call with a one-on-one client that I have, a wonderful mom who's, has her own business and all of this. And, suddenly her child is not in school, her husband is home. And it's like, how do you really, set your boundaries? I think that is the most important. As I've said before, it's about knowing what we need to really ask that question, what do I need right now? And I know there are some of you in much, much harder situations. There's a lot of pain, I think, a lot of grief right now. And I think it's important to definitely look for that silver lining, but to be really nurturing to ourselves so that we can, get through this, and we will. And I do believe that we will come out of it stronger in the sense that there's a lot of things that we're realizing about, our fast-paced life. This is kind of big. uh, the our fast-paced life. I think a lot of parents are realizing, like, what was I doing? Taking the children at different places all the time, being in the car all the time, rushing around. So I mean, hopefully, it's going to, you know, or it is making us kind of reevaluate what is important, what where do I want to put my energy, because that energy is finite, that time is finite. So to being really mindful about that, and to being able, like I said, set boundaries for ourselves, for our children, for our partners, and having that weekly check-in that I've mentioned in other lives. So I just realized I did not introduce myself. I am Jeanne Marie Paynel. For those who don't know me, I am a parenting mentor. I help you let go of the overwhelm so that you can raise self-sufficient, resilient children with ease and with joy, because I do believe that is, that is what it's meant to be. Parenting gets a bad rap of being so hard and such. And yes, it's hard, but it can be hard with the joy, with the because it's hard in the sense that we take it seriously. Like, geez, we're raising the next generation. So it is important, and we want to be respectful of these new human beings so that we don't scar them, or that we make sure that they are resilient and strong to do great things in the world. So it's hard in that way, but it doesn't, I don't believe that it has to be hard in the like the work and the chores and all of that. It's to me, it is a collaborative partnership. So it's really bringing your child into what you're doing. And that's one thing I talked about with this mom, because she has a almost 4-year-old, and she was questioning, like, how much is it reasonable to be there with him and play with him and all of this. And I think for me, there is check in with yourself as to how much energy do you have to give to your child, right? That don't let their needs be imposed on you. So I know it's easier said than done, but really check in with yourself of, when it's mommy, play with me, can you say, take a deep breath and go, you know what? Yes, I would love to. And right now I need to finish what I'm doing. And in, 20 minutes or whatever, we will make something together. Or, if you're needing to start dinner or garden or do something, bring them into what you are doing. Okay. So I just saw that Tatiana put a question. So sleep struggle question. Our toddler used to sleep from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Wow, that's wonderful. Now she's up at 6 a.m. every single morning. We've tried adjusting the bedtime to a later time, and she still wakes up at 6 a.m. And then she's cranky the whole day. Do you have any suggestions? She's almost 3 years old. We also have a baby who doesn't sleep well and an 8-year-old, and need her to sleep until at least 7 a.m. Okay, so Tatiana, there's several things that I would think about, and if we were doing this one-on-one, I would definitely, I had more questions. So, first of all, are the children in the same bedroom? Or is she with the 8-year-old or with the baby, or if she's alone? And so, that doesn't matter all that much. But what I would do, and I think a 3-year-old is completely capable of this, there are some beautiful lights that kind of give the child a visual cue as to it's okay to get up. And she's with the 8-year-old, okay. And so she probably at 6 a.m. is probably waking up the 8-year-old, which can be complicated. So here is a perfect example for me of really sitting down all together. Like, this is a family issue, because the fact that she is waking up her sister or her brother, I'm not sure, that she is cranky, all of this is affecting the whole community. So for me, what it would be important is that we, have kind of a family meeting around this issue, and say, I've noticed that you're getting up a little earlier these days, and I'm not really sure why. And it's important that you do stay in your room quietly. It's okay that you wake up, but if you can stay in your room quietly until your sister or your brother is awake, until mommy and daddy are awake, and just rest in your bed, read a book, whatever it is, so that she at least doesn't impose this new why is she waking up earlier? We don't know. Maybe it's the change in light, all of this, and changing the bedtime, putting her down at 6 might be a little bit too early. So it's just being able to have that. And then I would strongly suggest to have maybe an extra quiet time during the day so that she can feel more rested. Because we know that when we are, tired, the sleep, we don't fall asleep as well. The sleep isn't as deep and such. So the naps and the resting during the day is important. So a light, like a cue to let her know that it's okay to get up is, I would investigate into that, and then really having an understanding together of what is doable. And then the last thing that I will also suggest is, what I really like to do is kind of a little sleep book. So basically, you're taking photos of all the different things that are happening before she goes to bed, and then what are the expectations in the morning. So maybe if you do get that light, kind of include that in. And, and the last picture is when you're all connected and snuggling together. So hopefully that helps. Wonderful. So I have a question here from Gabriella from Dallas. Hello, Gabriella. I asked you before about potty training my 20-month-old. And in about 2 weeks, I got to a point where he was going in the potty 100% of the time during the day. But then my second baby was born early, and he had to return to daycare. At daycare, they said they would not take him to the potty unless he could pull down his pants and diaper. That breaks my heart. I'm so sorry. And now he's regressed, of course. Tips to help him figure out the pulling down the pants diaper. Should I set up a chair for him to get dressed every morning, or how can I help him? So good. I'm glad, Tatiana. Yes. So Gabriella, first of all, whether the daycare would have helped or not, it is very, very common that there is a regression in toilet independence when a new sibling comes in. Like, that is just very common in, it's like, oh, mommy, I want to still be your baby. I want you to take care of me, all of that. So, that is very common. So here, what is important is this mastering of getting the pants off and on. So for one, Gabriella, I would strongly, strongly suggest that at least when he's home, to forego the diapers during the day. Like, I'm really about just going cold turkey, and during the day, we just use cotton underpants. And there are some really nice, thick cotton underpants. I don't know if you heard my podcast, I want to say 2 weeks ago, with Andrea Olson from Go Free Diaper, and she has also a line of undies called Tiny Undies. So you might want to listen to that and also look into her product. But basically, we're wanting them to have that real recognition that the mind-body connection. So really being wet and uncomfortable. So, I need to take it off. So there would be that. So that at least at home, to really have that. And so then he can practice, right? And so there, definitely a little chair or a little stool. I really like to get a full-length mirror for them as well, and really set some clothes out where he can practice even during the day, because we don't want to wait to practice when we are needing to leave the house, when we're rushed for time. So set out kind of almost like an activity, right, about getting dressed. This is for you to practice, and leave them there. And know that, he might run around, without anything every once in a while and such, and that's okay too. But definitely having something there for him to practice. And then I would also say that the choice of clothing, especially the pants, to make them as simple as possible. So for now, while he is in the process of mastering the skill, get super simple, like sweatpants with just pants with an elastic band. No, no, belts and buckles and zippers and buttons, because that's another level, right? So we want to progressively help him master the skill of putting on and taking off pants. So, practice. Sit down on the floor with him and just make it fun of, we're going to practice this so that, when you go back to daycare, you can go to the bathroom on your own because you're such a big boy and you know how to do it. And I trust you and all of that, because he's totally, totally capable. And also know to, be patient, because there is, what I mentioned, this very common regression when a newborn comes in. But, if you can, do away with the diapers during the day. Keep them for nap time, keep them for nighttime, but just make them disappear for the day, and really cotton training underpants. And maybe at home, if he can only wear that, that would be wonderful, because then he can just practice. And I don't know if you can hear, but that's my son doing his exercise. So yes, hopefully that helps, Gabriella. So wonderful. Sleep and toilet, very, very important. The third one is food. And as I've always said, that those are the three things that we really have very little control over. We are here to create an environment for them. We are here to create respectful, peaceful routines, and we need to give them our patience and our time for that. So hopefully that will definitely help. But yes, Gabriella, I would just really encourage this. Um, not like you're a big boy, you have to do it, but just really this encouragement of, I've seen you do this and I know you're capable, and and just really encourage this knowing that he already has. And I'm sorry that the daycare wasn't more willing to work with you, and that's unfortunate. And actually in that podcast interview, I mentioned, she talks about that, because that is also very common, where here we are at home working on, specific routines, and we would like the school to do the same. They might not, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you have to stop doing what you're doing. Children are extremely smart. They're going to get that there's a different way of doing things here and there. But I definitely, if he gets to a point where he is wearing his cotton underwear at home, they're staying dry during the day, when it's time to go back, and I don't know, if in Dallas, if you're still able to go to the daycare during these days, but definitely when he goes back, if that's been the case, like, I would really make a stand for him and say, we don't have diapers during the day anymore. He's independent. He's wearing cotton underwear, and please work with me, because that would not be very respectful of him, would it? So there. So that's it. If you don't have other questions, this is always delightful to be able to connect with all of you, to be here. I am here every Friday morning for you to answer your questions. And please don't hesitate to reach out also, Messenger or on my website. Any of that. I have discovery calls if you need a little bit more one-on-one mentoring and such. I also do one-on-one coaching, and I have a membership and a course that I will be probably opening up pretty soon. So that is it for me here from San Diego, sending much love. And you're very welcome, Gabriella. This is, my calling. I'm just very strong in my belief that we need support as parents. So I've been there. I've, worked with many, many families, and I just want to be able to give you the support that you deserve. It's, parenting was never, ever meant to be done alone. So that's why I do what I do. Alrighty. Bye bye for now. I will see you back next Friday. And do check out my podcast, The Art of Parenting, for a lot of wonderful conversations. And I will see you next Friday. Bye bye for now.